This is Valkyr.
Was July, you hairy human meatbags. How the hell are ya? Let's get straight to the point. You are here to learn a thing or two about Valkyr. Well, the first thing to be a good Valkyr is to call her not by her fake slave name but by her real one, which is Valkyr. That's all. Now fuck off. Kidding. This Warframe has hands down one of the most intriguing backstories of all frames and is arguably the queen of tanks. Mastering this frame takes some balls, but once you feel comfortable with Valkyr gameplay, there will be nothing to stop you in the game. If you like angry pussy, then you have come to the right place. Let's begin. Valkyr's passive ability will allow for a faster recovery from knockdowns, which is not really all that great, but it does come in handy. She is also immune to hard landings, which means that no matter from how high you fall, this Pokemon evolution of Hello Kitty will always land softly and thus grant you more mobility. Her first ability. Get over here! Scorpion Ripoff. Valkyr will toss a grappling hook at your direction of aim. If you hit a surface, you will pull yourself toward the point of impact. If you hit an enemy or an ally, that target will be pulled toward you instead. This rip line will deal slash damage and will cost reduced energy and double damage if cast within the combo window. Now I can tell you from personal experience that using the Scorpion Dart for damage is a fool's errand. It is simply not worth it no matter how strong you build your kitty. So let's ignore the damage properties and focus on the way more intriguing perks the Ripline offers. First of all, Ripline's animated pull strength is actually influenced by distance and vertical angle. What this means is that the further away you are from a target when you cast Ripline, the more violent the pull will be. Also, the more vertical you are relative to your target, the more powerful the pull will be. This mechanic alone will provide you with numerous tactical options. When close to an enemy, you can use it as a quick crowd control to knock them on their asses and finish them at your feet. Or, you jump into the air in open areas and straight up yank them off of the map altogether. You can of course also just Spider-Man cosplay swing all over the place like a cheap Tarzan. Moving on. Crazy Cat Lady War Cry. This right here is one of Warframe's most underestimated abilities. It is the core of understanding. If you understand this ability alone, you will find that your kitty cat game will improve tenfold. Hell, you could even make a defense Valkyr. But that is a subject of a different video. Anyway, upon casting, you will moan, scream at your enemies or allies within range. This war cry will slow down enemies in range by a maximum of 75%, which, in turn will decrease incoming damage. On top of that, Valkyr will gain 50% armor and attack speed. But wait, it gets better. The buffs I just mentioned do not only apply to your teammates, no. They will also apply to companions, defense mods that you find in defense missions, and to those squishy whippersnapper operators that you must protect or save. Essentially, you will make the VIP target tankier and harder to kill. Therefore, I'd highly recommend keeping your second ability on at all times and always try to cast it in groups of enemy douchebags or allies for maximum effectiveness. All of these benefits can be increased with strength mods. So the stronger you build your feline, the more armor and speed will be added to you and your teammates. Quite a few Warframes will love you for the speed buff. For example, Filthy Stinking Spam for Excaliburos. Anyway, next ability. Paralysis.
I can't feel my legs!
Valkyr will let out yet another Freakamon that will stop any enemy in range dead in their tracks. This ability will drain and convert 33% of Valkyr's current shield into knockback damage. Now we could explore the math and mechanic behind this ability, but there really is no point. No matter how strong you build this ability, the damage will never be strong enough to make a dent on high-level content. Hell, even mid-level douchebags will laugh at you. However, there are two perks to using this ability anyway. 1. Your crowd control. Since this will instantly stop anything within range, you are essentially stopping all incoming damage as well. And as you may remember, stopping incoming damage is essentially God mode. The second reason you may want to use this ability is that it will open all affected punks to finishers. This is brilliant to use on a group and then pick off the really tough targets quickly, since we all know that finisher damage scales very nicely. At the very least, you can use this as a panic button when shit gets too hot for you. Let's move on for now. Super Psy on Bitch Fit Hysteria. Now, no matter how new you are to Warframe, if you have heard about the Warframe called Valkyr, then you have heard of this ability. Press 4, have some tea and chill the fuck out. Right? Wrong. Though this ability seems fairly straightforward, it actually has a whole lot going for it. So let's start slow. Upon casting, your Valkyrie will get really angry and go into nine-tailed fox mode. While in this god mode, she will ignore any and all incoming damage and will also be immune to knockdowns. Some attacks will still push you gently, but they will not bring you down. While active, Hysteria will drain your energy at an accelerated rate. This percentage you see here indicates how far along the energy drain is at the moment. When it hits 100%, you will have reached maximum energy drain per second. You can slow this down with efficiency mods, of course, and most people will try to do so to stay in this ability as long as possible. You honestly do not need to do that though. So don't worry about it too much. Then next thing you need to know is, upon activation, Valkyrie will generate what I like to call a death aura around her. This aura will start at a 5-meter radius and slowly increase up to 20 meters. Every enemy you kill while in God mode will shrink the aura back down by 1 meter. Why does this matter, and why the hell do I call it death aura, you might wonder? Well, 30% of all ignored damage while in God mode is stored up here. If any enemies are within your aura, and have line of sight when you exit Hysteria mode, or your energy runs out, then 25% of the total stored damage will be dealt to you. So the higher the levels you are up against, the more damage you will store. At which point the stored damage could actually kill you the second you come out of Hysteria if you are not careful. I mostly bypass this danger by simply bullet jumping in the air. The next thing about Hysteria is that it has a built-in lifesteal. Sure, I could tell you the difficult mathematics behind it, but honestly it doesn't matter at all. Just know that for all the damage you deal, Valkyr will steal health back from your targets. And with this build, you will insta-replenish all of your life with 1 or 2 swings anyway. So the math does not matter. That's pretty much everything you need to know about mechanics. The next topic about Hysteria mode is how it deals damage. Now usually I would go into massive detail at this point, but this time I think you will be better off with the simplified version. You see, the thing is, Valkyrie's God mode is so strong that you almost can't do anything wrong with it. All of my testing seems to indicate that absolutely nothing is carried over from your melee weapon of choice. So in other words, you can actually unequip your melee altogether and Hysteria will not suffer at all. So the only thing you need to do is modify your pussy claws pretty much however you want. Almost every melee mod will work on these claws. The few exceptions are Rivns, Acolyte mods, and class-specific mods. Everything else will likely work. One last tip I will share here. 1. While in Hysteria mode, your Valkyrie will deal 1.6 times ground finisher damage. On standing finishers, for example, after casting Paralysis, the finisher damage is even multiplied by 6.4. This is kinda insane and it will mow down anything in your way. Also, you can actually prompt the finisher during bitch fit mode by using charged attacks. That way you can only focus on one enemy at a time, but therefore it will cost 0 extra energy. You're welcome. Being a melee-based Warframe, you can totally min-max the shit out of Valkyr by taking advantage of armament and combo multipliers. I mentioned both of those techniques in my Ashe and Excalibur videos, so check those out if you need a reminder. Here is my build. Now don't panic just because I am using these stupid Umbra mods. You can totally replace those with the regular versions and still be more than good enough to dominate everything easily. Clearly my focus here is strength. With a shit ton of armor, which is the core of my Valkyrie's survivability and in-your-face playstyle. Naturally, you can tweak this to your personal liking. And finally my Pussy Claw build. As mentioned earlier, you can mod these however the hell you like. I happen to like this build. At the start of this video, I said it takes balls to master Valkyr. This is because her shields are virtually non-existent and you will constantly feel like you are about to die. But do not worry. Valkyr is perfectly capable of taking a beating, and if you combine your abilities cleverly, like activating Warcry before coming out of Hysteria to minimize damage you will have to deal with, you will make an unkillable Hello Kitty salesperson. Well then, that was all you need to know about that pussy. It is time to dab and subscribe to this stupid channel and follow my shitty Twitch. And also fuck off.
You're a pussy.